Do you like red and blue in Magic? Do you like playing a Spellslinger theme? Do you love birds that reanimate out of the grave because they are phoenixes? Well, if that's the case, then this deck is absolutely for you, my friend. Welcome back to another video. I'm Blake and you're you, and today we are playing Arclight Phoenix in Explorer. This deck, and this card really, is a staple of so many formats. It's so incredibly good, and Explorer is no exception. This deck reanimates a bunch of phoenixes out of the grave. It plays very low to the ground, is incredibly fast, but can also go the mid-range route, and is insanely good. So in case you're not familiar, here's what the Arclight Phoenix does. For 4 mana, it's a 3/2 flying haste Phoenix, obviously. But at the beginning of combat on your turn, if you've cast 3 or more instant and sorcery spells this turn, return Arclight Phoenix from your graveyard to the battlefield. So this is a reanimator style deck revolving around casting 3 instants and sorceries in one turn, all built around the Arclight Phoenix and putting it into the graveyard. So there are so many good card draw and discard spells. We're not going to go over every card in the list. You can check out the deck list in the description. We are running just 20 lands, so it's a very low curve to the low to the ground deck. Play as many duels as you can, and then just start to fill out from there. Now, just a couple key cards to note. Ledger Shredder, incredibly good backup option as a secondary win con. When for some reason you're either not drawing the Phoenixes or maybe they get exiled, but Ledger Shredder is a very good card that cannot be left onto the battlefield, and it pairs incredibly well with the Phoenix because it also is a great discard outlet. Now we're also running a ton of ways that we can put those phoenixes into the graveyard, like the Consider. Lightning Axe is an incredibly good removal spell that allows us to discard. We also have things like a single maximize velocity, which can discard if we're jump starting it. We also have the Chart a Course, which can discard if we choose to have it that way. Strategic Planning puts 2 cards from the top of our deck into the graveyard. Cathartic Pyre can discard or deal damage. Really, there are so many ways to dump that Phoenix in the yard. So the game plan is, of course, dump the Phoenix into the yard and then cast 3 spells to reanimate it, and ideally we're doing 2, 3, 4 Phoenixes in one turn and slamming them with these flying haste birds. So the deck is pretty simple, but also takes a lot of complex maneuvers to pilot, so we'll see how I can do with this deck. It's not exactly super straightforward, but we're going to see how I can do on the ladder. So let's get into some games and see what we can do with this bird. Okay, opening hand once again, 2 lands, both colors, a way to draw cards, and a removal spell, and even a Phoenix in the opener, which is going to pair extremely nicely with that Ledger Shredder. So this should be a great showing of the deck. Ooh, and that's a nice start as well. Getting to put that Haul down untapped is going to feel great. We can opt on the end of this turn, or we can even hold on to that opt and save that up, which I think will be the way to go here. Saving our spells so that we can easily multi-spell later. But right now, we're just going to plan to go Ledger Shredder and use that as a way to discard the old Phoenix while we save up some ways to triple spell. Or we could also just play out and go straight up Arclight Phoenix turn 4, which I do think will be the way to go. Lotus Cobra might be worth hitting with an axe here. That is going to provide them basically 5 mana next turn. So that is pretty good. I think I'm willing to do that. Let's go ahead and discard this mountain in order to hit this Cobra. We're going to take away their early ramp here. Hit that guy. Let's go ahead and opt so we can get the Ledger Shredder going. And let's get rid of this Chart a Course. Or do we just plan... Let's see. We've already cast 2 spells. If we had something else to do with the Lightning Axe, we could do it, but we don't have another 1 mana spell. So let's hold on to the Phoenix and play it straight up. And let's get rid of this Chart a Course, I think is the way to go. We will keep a Consider. That is totally fine. Now, sadly, if we would have known, we could have discarded that Arclight Phoenix because we would have had a way to reanimate it right now. But that's okay. Hindsight's 20/20. We're going to play it safe and slow with this deck. Our opponent has nothing on board. We are totally fine here. They are going to hit all of their colors here. Probably it looks like they're playing some kind of teamer deck. All we've seen so far is the Lotus Cobra, so we know that they are interested in lamping, potentially or landfall. Players can't pay life or sacrifice non-lands permanents. That doesn't affect us really at all. So we're going to go ahead and dig for that 4th land so that we can bring out, that'll do it, so that we can bring out the Phoenix next turn. And we are feeling quite good. Yasharn is a very nice card and is a beater if you're playing some kind of sacrifice deck. But luckily we don't care about that and everything is in the air. And so we are off to a really nice start for us here. Let's see if they can bring out anything more important than Yasharn here. Risen Reef, okay, it is an elemental / landfall deck, probably running some kind of Omnath. That's totally fine. I think we can handle that. Flame Blast Bolt is going to be a great answer to this Risen Reef next turn. So I'm feeling pretty decent, I think. Okay, we're going to go ahead and swing in here. We've got a bunch of instant source speed options. Let's see. Neither of these care about landfall, so I think that's fine. They can have their growth spiral. We're going to hold on to the strategic planning in case at some point they do kill the Arclight Phoenix, that we're able to bring it back. And we're also going to hold on to this Flame Blast Bolt until they show us an elemental that can come down. Let's see, can this make elementals? This is the Awakened Inferno, can't be countered, gives us an emblem, it can deal 3 damage to each non-elemental creature, so that would be sad, but kind of fine. So we don't need to do any killing of anything yet. They're probably just going to deal 3 to everything. Killing our Phoenix, that makes a lot of sense to me. So now we're actually going to hold on to this bolt until next turn to help us with that triple spell. Shredder, amazing with that 4 toughness. Hold on, we're going to take some damage, but that is totally fine. If we draw another Phoenix, I actually think we set up the win right away, so that would be awesome. Okay, we do not, which is fine. Let's go ahead and plan strategically, which is going to be good. I will take an Opt here. It's the most versatile. And then we are going to go Flame Blast Bolt on the Risen Reef, which will let us do some shredding. 3 gets us to 6. Let's go ahead and toss 1 Chart a Course because it's our sorcery speed card here. And then I actually didn't realize we were down to blue, so it's a good thing I kept up. I was thinking in my head we were going to be lightning bolting. That's probably not going to help us in this matchup at this point. So now we are going to get, we'll go ahead and put a 5th land down, could be helpful. We're going to put a lot of pressure on the board here. Ledger Shredder, big enough to live if they do another -3 on the Inferno. But otherwise, it's looking like we're going to seal up a nice win here. You saw exactly how the deck works. They're going to have to draw a banger 2-drop here to win the game to stop what we're doing. The deck just really rolls well. It's just great Izzet Spellslinger synergy. They've got 4 mana, so they can do some shenanigans. So we'll see if it's enough for them to beat us out here. And a blue land isn't going to do too much for us. So let's see. This does damage to any target. So they can hit the Shredder and then also get rid of the Phoenix by getting rid of their Chandra. So that is going to put in a lot of work. That is going to be a problem. Let's see if there's any way we can get out of this. That is going to be a bit of a struggle. So, only 2 red, so we cannot cast all 3 of these. So we could Lightning Axe, discarding the Velocity. And I think they've got us, so we have to just see. I think we don't have enough mana, but we can hit something by discarding the Velocity. We had to put down that to have enough, but we don't have enough mana to pay for everything, so that's super unfortunate. Wow, so I thought we had it, and then they pulled out a nice stopper. I wasn't expecting them to play so many lands, but they really sealed the deal and got out of it. So that was a good game for both decks. We just happened to be a card short. I probably made some misplay in it. If I did, if I could have won this game, you let me know down in the comment section. See you in the next one. Okay, we have double color, 2 lands, a way to draw cards. I am perfectly comfortable keeping this hand. So good luck to you, Xylaja. We see a black. Let's go ahead and start with the blue so we can consider on their end step. This deck probably likes to play on the play a little more than on the draw. It's a little unfortunate, but hey, if you're still watching this video and you are enjoying the content, please consider subscribing. If you do subscribe and you let me know down in the comment section by saying something like, I subscribe, I'll leave you a thank you and a fun little emoji just for you. So that could be a lot of fun if you're enjoying this video. And we play nothing but Explorer decks on the channel, if you're wondering what we're all about. So thank you if you are doing that. It does help out the channel a lot in this early stage while I'm trying to get monetized. Now, without any more commercials, let's get more into this game. Let's go ahead and hit this opt. I don't really need a 5th land, so we're going to send that thing to the bottom and look for a card. Galvanic Iteration could come in handy here, I guess. Let's go ahead and put down a blue, and then let's chart a course looking for something to do. What are we going to discard here? I think I like discarding. We're going to set up the Crackling Drake potential by having 4th land there, so we are going to hold on to that. I guess what I can get rid of here is the maximized velocity. We can play that out of the graveyard anyway, so we kind of get to keep it in our hand by discarding. So I think that is totally fine here. Fabled Passage still have not seen any spells on their end, so not exactly sure what our opponent is doing. They are definitely playing on a budget because they're playing a just straight up red-black tap land, nothing else. Ooh, they're playing a discard deck. A little unfortunate at this stage of the game, but I don't think we're too worried about it. Let's go ahead and toss a Lightning Axe and an Iteration, because once again, we can play the Iteration out of the graveyard anyway. Okay, we got all of our colors we could possibly need for any spell. Let's just go ahead and pass. It might even be worth copying our opt this turn, depending on what they play. They're probably going to start playing things like Virus Beetles or something like that. You can have a Murderous Rider, that's no problem. Not too worried about that. Okay, our turn. I am going to opt and see what we can find. Consider is fine, but it really only digs us one more anyway, so it's not really putting us that far ahead. Let's scry that to the bottom. Do love seeing a Shredder here. So let's hold on to that. Let's go ahead and put down the Shredder. And that will eventually be big enough to just kill the Rider. Let's go ahead and strategically plan so we can get the Shredder going. We're going to do a bunch of digging here. Just looking for that lovely little Drake. Okay, so they got a little sacrifice synergy going here with the Village Rites. Makes perfect sense. What do we get rid of? All of these seem like they're going to be decent. We'll get rid of... I want to keep the Bolt because it's so cheap. Let's get rid of a Cathartic Pyre since we've got 2 of them. Put one of them to our hand, the rest in our graveyard. Awesome. We're going to put a Phoenix in the graveyard, and we should be able to reanimate it next turn, I think, if we go double blue, and then, well, we're not going to have the targets for those. So that's a little sad, but we're really close. We could also iterate something, so that could be good. I think we'll get it. We've got a velocity as well, so we can go chart a course. We can even strangle our own Shredder if we have to. That's unfortunate. We cannot do that anymore. We're super close from bringing this thing back. Let's see. With 5 mana, is there a way for me to bring it back? We can chart a course. I mean, we also are going to get to draw a card and dig. So we could chart a course. And then we could also Cathartic Pyre. Let's chart a course and hope we draw a 1 mana spell we can play. That will get us there if we can do that. Spell Pierce. Interesting. We could do something funny. Let's go ahead and discard a Lava Coil because it's a sorcery speed. So we have a funny option. We could do something like Cathartic Pyre and then Spell Pierce it, bringing back our Phoenix. But that seems like a stretch. I think we should just save our cards, use them wisely, and wait until next turn. I think that's the smarter play. We're going to get some targets that Strangle could hit. That will help us out a lot. No idea what they're doing, but they just took 5 damage to draw a card, so that seems like a positive for us. So they are really digging for something to do, and apparently they're playing Mardu, so completely unsure what they're going for here. This seems a little silly. Yep, so next turn we can definitely Strangle the Murderous Rider, and then with any luck, we'll get a card draw spell as well. Okay, we did not get a card draw spell, so that kind of sucks, but we're still going to Strangle the Rider. Maybe they'll counter it or something. They'll probably sacrifice the Rider is my guess. They've got a bunch of sacrifice synergies going on. Sure. Now I'm willing to just hope we get lucky. We're going to discard a Flame Bless Bolt, and we're going to discard the Spell Pierce because they have so much mana, and hope we draw a blue draw spell. That is extremely unfortunate. We were so close to having what we needed, but I guess that's where we're at now. Let's just go ahead and put down this extra mana. It seems like that could come in handy. And we're going to get a Shredder down. That should be some good value. They probably have a kill spell in hand considering how few spells they played. So it's probably getting removed, but better the Shredder than the Phoenix. So I think we're fine here. I think we're still totally fine. Pretty weird matchup. I mean, we are really just being slow to flip out our Phoenixes so far. So that's definitely been a little unfortunate. But luckily we're playing a slow deck here, so that's okay. We're almost half the deck deep, and we've only hit one Phoenix. There's the second Phoenix. That's what we were waiting for. And that will also give us a great target for the velocity next turn. So that's going to be super helpful. And the great thing about Phoenix is you can just play one straight up, and then they have to have exile effects to really deal with it. So it puts a lot of pressure on, creates a lot of negative card advantage for them. Just like this, that's totally fine. They're going to kill it, and then next turn we've got a pretty decent chance of bringing it back around. Now hopefully they will play the Rider so that we can get the Cathartic Pyre rolling, or the Strangle rolling. That would also be great. Okay, Croxa. That's kind of unfortunate. We don't want to be getting down to this few cards in hand while we're looking for ways to flip out cool stuff. So I guess we're kind of in a pickle here. And then he is actually able to escape it right away, so that's pretty darn sad. Not gonna lie. They're able to disrupt our entire hand here. So this is a bit of a problem, because now it gets really hard to do a bunch of spells at once since we have no cards in hand. This is the spot you do not want to get in with the deck, and where we're really going to struggle. So I'm not sure if we're going to be able to come back from this one. This will be tough. The way out is if we draw a card draw spell. That's only going to do 5. That's extremely unfortunate. I guess, or attacks. That is just brutal. Yeah, I mean, there's really nothing we even have to do here. We just have to sit here and hope we top deck something that would draw. I mean, we can Galvanic Iteration the Lightning Axe. Maybe that's not a bad idea. And then we can also, next turn, I've really messed it up now because we can't use the Lightning Axe. We could have actually used the Iteration on the Lightning Axe to double hit the Croxa, but then also maximize velocity on the Knight to bring back our Phoenixes. That was probably my way out, and I probably goofed it, and now I'm going to draw a land because that's the kind of luck I seem to be having today. So there's our land, just like I said. So I guess we lose 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 damage on the board. We're going to get one more turn, but even then, we don't really have anything to get out of the way. So I did have a chance to bring back the 2 Phoenixes and get rid of the Croxa, but I didn't see it in the moment, so that was quite sad. I guess we'll go ahead and see. We don't have any board wipes in the deck, obviously, being an Izzet. We're not running Burn the House Down or anything like that, so I guess let's go ahead and just see what happens here. Galvanic Iteration. And then we're going to try to opt. But I don't see any way to get out of it at this point, so it's pretty sad. Steam Vent's going to be a no. Consider is fine. It would have been cool if we would have had it a turn earlier. Drake would have gotten the job done, but not now. I think it's just too late. So we do this and we send that there. But even next turn, you know, we bring back all of our Phoenixes. But even so, we double block here and they've got the damage. So this is another L, but I think we maybe could have weaseled that if I would have been a little more clever. So let's keep going and see if we can get a better game for us. Okay, 2 colors, lots of card draw. I think this is totally acceptable for us to keep. Let's see how we can do here in this game. See if Fran Cochet can give us a nice matchup here to showcase this deck and see what we've got rolling for us. See the planes right off the bat. We will pay 2 life so that we can opt right away. Looking to strategically plan on my next turn, most likely. Pass, we'll go ahead and opt now. Scry 1, draw 1. We will keep a Shredder. That's an even better turn 2. Really cranks up the pressure, and considering it's not even our main creature, it's a secondary creature win con, it puts a lot of pressure on them to remove it, and it's just such a perfect card for the deck. It's also a bird. Phoenixes are birds, so it's just kind of perfect. And I love seeing that Ledger Shredder turn 2. I hate seeing Righteous Valkyrie turn 3. It's my least favorite card to play against if you've ever watched the channel at all. Let's go ahead and plan strategically. We will take a Lightning Axe because I want to get rid of this thing as soon as possible. We'll put in a Sokenzan. We will discard a card to get rid of the Valkyrie. I hate the life gain deck so much. And we can run low on land, so let's go ahead and take this mountain out. Connive, let's get rid of a Charter Course. It's slow, and we've already got one. Very good, and then we'll attack, and now we're just rolling. Keeping on, keeping on. So let's see how we do here. Seem to be playing Azorius Angels, which is kind of a weird deck. But I guess you do you, you know. So let's go ahead and Strangle this right now. And then just so we can get our Ledger Shredder Connive trigger, let's go ahead and chart a course as well. Let's toss the Opt. I want to keep Cathartic Pyre because it's a nice removal option. And then now we can discard that Pathway. Don't need that. Let's go ahead and attack. We'll put our island down. That will allow us to consider if we need to. And now I'm feeling kind of good. Feeling kind of good at this point. I might even wait and consider on our turn so we can hold up a multi-spell potential. Just in case we do run into that. So I'll go ahead and hold on to that. My turn. Yeah, let's just go ahead and hit this with the Cathartic Pyre. And then let's go ahead and consider, get that double spell action. We're really just going on the Ledger Shredder game plan right now. We'll go ahead and toss an island. It's okay if even if we don't grow, we don't need another island. Really digging for a Phoenix. There we go. That'll help a lot getting that down. Next turn is going to put a lot of pressure on. And we've got their board nice and clear. The Angels decks usually revolve around getting a bunch of Angels out so that they start to stack up and compound all those synergies that they have. So that should be super helpful to get that out of the way. Next turn, probably just playing a Phoenix no matter what. Overseer is a little obnoxious just because it's the perfect size to block it. But that's okay because we're going to be able to get some multi-spelling done pretty easily, I think. So we're going to force them to make that trade, and then we'll hope to do some multi-spelling the turn after that. And they let it go through, which is a very interesting choice. I'm not sure exactly what they could have that makes them want to do that. Inspiring Overseer, insane common card out of Nuka Pen. If you played it in Limited, was terrible to play against. I do love the art, though. It's kind of cool. So let's see what our opponent has in mind. A Righteous Valkyrie, yep, like I said, trying to synergize all those Angels, but I love having another target to hit with these removal spells. That will make multi-spelling quite a bit easier, I think. But for sure, this Lightning Axe is headed straight for that Valkyrie, without a doubt. So let's go ahead and do that now. We're going to discard a card to hit the Valkyrie. See if they have a response for that. They do. That is super unfortunate. In that case, we're going to now just hit it with the old Lava Coil. So that helps us connive. Feels great. Another Dovin's Veto. Are you kidding me? I think we hold on to the Phoenix. Yeah, I guess we hold on to the Phoenix here. Wow. That was pretty insane. There's no more spells on the stack, so that's sad. I think Spell Pierce has got to go. And then we'll just swing in with our Phoenix. Make them put a trade up or take 5. The Valkyrie can bring back a lot of life, though. So that's really unfortunate that they get that out there. Resplendent Angel going to do a lot of work. Okay, we could really use removal spells here, I think. Or we could also just... that's interesting. Yeah, we're gonna start like this. See how they want to play this. I would love to take out this Valkyrie if they're willing to play into my Flame Blessed Bolt. Yeah, that makes more sense, I guess, doesn't it? Okay. That's fine. This can only hit a creature or planeswalker, so that's really sad. Din can't be turned on yet. This has haste. So I guess we just do this and hope they don't draw another angel. So maybe the play. Luckily, these two together with a double block still don't kill our Shredder. So that's pretty great. They're attacking. That is interesting. Are they just giving us this game? Or do they have some kind of play? Oh, wow. That's really good. Yeah, then they're going to get to make an angel. Good for you. Well done. Jeez. I hate playing against this deck so much. So much. It's insanely annoying. Any of the life gain angel decks are just so obnoxious for me to play against. In my humble opinion. Okay. Gain a ton of life, and they get the double trigger there. It's just insane. Let's consider first, see if there's a way to triple spell. I'm actually going to toss this Shredder looking for another spell we can play. Okay, now watch this. This is actually going to be awesome. And then we are going to hit this, discarding this Phoenix, and then we're going to do that. And I have to discard this so that I can play this Flame Blessed Bolt, because this Flame Blessed Bolt is going to be spell number 3, reanimating 2 Pheeni, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 exactly. Perfect math. What an awesome deck. Let's keep rolling. Keep 2 blue and then play on turn 2 a strategic planning or a chart of course, but I just think that's too risky when you don't see both of your colors. So I'm feeling a lot better about this hand. We'll be able to toss something here. Let's see. I'm going to toss the Spell Pierce just because... One moment, pause. So I'm going to toss the Spell Pierce just because that is the most situational card that we have, and we're going to roll with that. So let's see, we'll start off with a red so that we could bolt a Llanowar Elf if they play something small on turn 1, or a 1-drop could as well be good. So we are playing against mono red, so we're going to want to try to outpace them or use our removal to keep them off the board. So let's go ahead and do some planning. That's perfect. Strangle will be fantastic in this matchup. It's going to take care of all those little pesky creatures they play, so that's going to be super nice. We have we already have one of the Pheeni in the grave. Lava Coil, just about the best card we could hit against the Flamebreaker because it's going to do exactly 4. So we're just kind of holding off here, waiting until we can double multi-spell, maybe play this Phoenix out for free, or not for free, but just for 4. And see what we can do here. So, if we draw the right cards, if we could draw a blue draw spell into a red land, we could do some damage. So we'll get the Den down, and now it's just a question of, do we play these cards now, or do we do a little work to put this in the yard? We don't have any blue spells, so double spelling is going to be a little tough. I think I'm interested in saving this Phoenix. The question is, do we Strangle now? I think we Strangle now. We need to save damage. I think Flamebreaker is going to do the most over time, where all the Etching is just going to do 2 a turn. So let's get rid of the Flamebreaker, especially no blockers. It's going to kind of do 2 a turn, and it's probably a Spell Slinger type of deck if they're running the Flamebreaker anyway. So I think that was the right choice for us over time. Just trying to really slow them down, keep them off the board. And hoping for the best. Okay, and they do go Shock there, and then Slaying Fire. Insane. So now, once again, we're just kind of waiting, really hoping to double spell. Kamano can just wait. We can get it on instant speed if we need to. Maybe they'll try to pump it up or something like that. We also have enough to kill the Den as well, which is going to be great. Den is a 3-2. So let's go ahead and hit that now. Before it gets a chance to attack and create those tokens, and they are tapped out, so this is a totally fine time to go ahead and hit this with the Cathartic Pyre. So we are at a very vulnerable point here, and especially since they don't have any cards for us to hit with these. It's going to get harder to multi-spell. But maybe they'll play down something slow that we can hit with Strangle next turn. We might go for an opt into Strangle. Lightning Strike putting a lot of pressure on. We don't have any life gain in the deck. So they might just have us. Yeah, so that's probably just going to be another L. Really, really just unfortunate day. What in the world is going on? So many L's for this great deck. I promise you it's not that bad. But let's see, I guess, if we can win in that few of turns. We put down one Phoenix. Don't think there's any way in the deck for us to gain life, but let's just go ahead and check. The Roiling Vortex, of course, going to deal damage to both of us. And Thermal Alchemist will probably seal the deal. We do get to kill it, though. Man, we cannot buy a card draw spell. What in the world is happening, guys? So that's going to be the game. Nothing else we can do about that. That's the L. I guess let's keep going, see if we can do any better. Okay, looking at our first opening hand here, we've got 2 lands and a couple ways to draw cards. We've got some removal in the Lightning Axe, so I think this is perfectly acceptable. I'm generally looking for 2 lands with both colors to start unless I have a very specific game plan of something I'm looking to do. So I think this is a perfectly acceptable hand. We can consider or opt right here on turn 1. If they would play something extremely scary, which is unlikely on turn 1, we could go with the Lightning Axe. But overall, I'm feeling quite good about this start. Good luck to you, Pablo Elias. Let's see what you've got. Okay, let's go ahead and opt here. Cathartic Pyre is fine. That could be a discard outlet, but it is negative card draw. I think I'm just going to dig for Phoenixes to start here is how we're going to get this game rolling. All right, let's go ahead and put the Haul in now so that we can take it with no disadvantage coming our way. Because if we control 2 or more lands, then it has to come in taps if it's the 3rd or beyond that is coming down. So could get a nice chance for some removal or maybe even a Spell Pierce here. Ledger Shredder is going to be good enough to soak up our removal here, so we're going to hit that with the Lightning Axe. And we are going to discard a card, and I kind of want most of these cards, so I'm actually going to be fine to get rid of this mountain here. You're going to hit plenty of lands in this deck usually. You can run very low to the ground fairly easily, so getting rid of that Ledger Shredder feels really good. We will go ahead and take a 3rd island at this point. Looking to set up the Crackling Drake is a good way to go. We are going to be 1 red short, but I think that's all right. I think we can work it out. So we are playing Esper, and probably we are playing against Greasefang here. So we will have to look out for that. I guess we're saving the Spell Pierce, or we could slow down what they're doing now. They'll also probably have a good amount of removal. I think we let them have this Tainted Indulgence, and we maybe save this for a good removal spell they have, or potentially one of the reanimation spells if they're able to put a Greasefang in the yard. All right, not great that we missed having double red for our Crackling Drake. So I think we'll go ahead and hold on to this. Getting another one of these isn't insane, and we could discard it to the Pyre. But Pyre is also nice here because it's got enough damage on it that it could hit a Greasefang if they are able to get that down. But not too worried right now since they don't have any of their big, bad, scary Parhelions in there. So I think we're fine. Small chance it's not Greasefang, but I would say that's pretty unlikely at this point, especially since we've seen the Tainted Indulgence and the Faithful Mending. That makes me 99% sure we are seeing Greasefang here, and we've got tools and pieces, and we're ready to take care of that for this matchup. So I think we have a really good matchup here. Should have no problem at all. I'm going to actually save the Pyre just because it's going to be so absolutely crazy good if we do end up seeing that Greasefang. Now I am confident to just play this now because we've got another land to save our Pyre. We're really going to play some defense here against this Greasefang deck. Since we're not off to a super fast start, which is totally fine, this deck can play slower. It doesn't exactly play control-y, but it can certainly take its time. Okay, we don't need this extra island. Love getting my 2nd red there, so we do set up the Crackling Drake if we decide to go that direction. We can also wait until we get to 6 mana total so that we can Crackling Drake with a Pyre up, which I think will be the play. Because a Greasefang, if they get the Parhelion in the yard. Now, if they don't have any big artifacts in the yard, we're probably pretty safe to just go ahead and drop down the Crackling Drake. Because they would have to hit a little bit of luck. But at 5 mana, they could do it all on 1 turn. They could play something like a Tainted Indulgence, discarding the Parhelion. And then also, or Rafine is also a problem, but I think Rafine does have a long enough clock that we're going to be okay. But it is going to create some problems for are, let's see, I think I want to go Crackling Drake here. Yeah, Drake is a good counter to the Raffine. It's going to have enough power to get over it. Very good. Love seeing that. We've got red, red, blue, blue. I could put down another blue to have a Spell Pierce ready. So I guess that's the way we'll go. Putting down our Otawara as a blue source to have the Spell Pierce just in case that would come up. Feeling good that Crackling Drake... Okay. Do I want to make them pay extra for this? We could make them effectively spend their whole turn on this Crackling Drake, which I kind of think is a good plan because other than a reanimation spell, which with no Greasefang in the yard, if there was a Greasefang in the yard, I would be willing to save this for a reanimation spell, but I think I'm willing to make them effectively spend their whole turn to get rid of the Crackling Drake, just for the tempo of it more than anything else. I think is totally fine here. And then we get a chance to put down a Shredder, which is going to be super good. Raffine's going to start putting in a lot of work, both in the card draw, but also the way it grows. So he is going to be a problem. We don't have a straight removal spell, so that is going to be our biggest issue here. Now, I think it's probably worth maximizing our velocity here on this Ledger Shredder. Lightning Axe is exactly what I needed to see. So let's go ahead and toss this Pathway. And then we need to get rid of this Raffine now, while it's at 5 before it grows. What does it have? Ward 1? We can handle that, right? Ward 1, yes, we can afford that. Perfect. Get rid of Sokenzan here. Ward 1, no problem. We will auto-pay, get rid of this Raffine. Now, we are at a pretty awkward stage because our hand is so small. It's going to be really hard to triple spell into... What did they just hit? Maximize velocity. That's totally fine. No worries for us. So I think we're really going to have to lean on the Ledger Shredder to win this matchup, just because it's going to be extremely hard for us to triple spell. We'd have to get really lucky if we do hit our Phoenix. We have not seen a single Phoenix yet, about 20 cards deep into our deck, so that is extremely unfortunate. But they got to be coming. So this deck sometimes has to hold out when you miss the Phoenix, but Shredder is such an impressive card that it really does put in a lot of work no matter what. So I think we're still in a pretty good spot. We got to get rid of this one because we're still, like I said, holding on to that Pyre to prepare for the Greasefang. They have also yet to hit any of their big artifacts. So there's a good chance they have a Greasefang they're waiting for. And there's the Parhelion. So I am expecting to see the big Greasefang next turn. So we're going to let that happen and hope that our Pyre can be enough to hold them off. I'm guessing as long as this game has been going that they have it. They, of course, do. Now, here's the question is, does this get through? Are they running any counter magic? I like to run a couple pieces of counter magic in my Greasefang decks. There's a really good chance they do. And if they do stop this, then they could potentially beat us out right here. Okay, so we're going to discard this, keeping the opt. We're still going to try to hold up. We're going to try to fill our hand with 3 instants is going to be the plan and hope we get lucky. It's Cathartic Pyre. Extremely important here that this fault goes through. And then it's also pretty important that we dig for another response to the next Greasefang because we know it's coming. They've got 4 of them and they're way down far in their deck, even farther than us. They've really dug through. So there's a really super strong chance that they have a Greasefang. So I'm hoping we can get one more turn without seeing the Greasefang to get us a triple spell turn ready. But if they do play it, all right, we're going to have to double opt looking for an answer here because they are ready to go. That's not going to do it. That's not going to do it. All right, can we get lucky looking for another Cathartic Pyre or a Lightning Axe? That's almost going to do it, but not quite, sadly. So I guess we'll just give the Shredder the counter. Lava Coil will do it. So we'll go ahead and take that. They're going to do 13 damage to us. But they're going to leave the 2 angels, so they probably win anyway. I probably should have just passed on this. So this is a good example of the matchup. This is when the deck falls short. We hit 0 Phoenix in about something like 45% of the deck we went through. And we didn't hit the Phoenix. So that's when you lose. That happens sometimes, but not very often. So this is a good deck to show. We saw how we could have gotten out of that if we would have gotten lucky and drawn... can an iteration save us? I guess let's find out. Maybe what we draw will save us. I don't really picture what it could be. I guess if we draw another piece of removal, we could copy the Lava Coil to hit an Angel and remove an Angel if we draw. I don't know if we would have the mana for that. See, there's finally our Phoenix, sadly. Is there any way to get out of this? We do have a big blocker. Okay, well, here's what I'm thinking then. Let's do Galvanic Iteration first. See if we can dig ourselves out. We will Lava Coil the Grease Fang. And then that will trigger our Shredder to be big enough to block this if we discard the Phoenix. Copied is going to get one of these Angels out of the way. So that's good. Now, I think we actually have to hold on to the Phoenix because we're going to want to play it, and we're not going to be able to triple spell. So that does make this where it's not quite a trade, which is sad, but I think we can handle that because we're not going to die from it, at least. So we're just trying to hold off. Small chance we can come back, and that's going to... Oh, they're going to remove the counters, so that makes that a kill. Very smart play. I've never actually seen Heartless Act remove 3 counters from a creature be meaningful and good, but they just did it, so that's super impressive. So we'll go ahead and just make the trade here. Who knows, maybe we'll squeak it out. I'm always a fan of playing for as long as you can, trying to eke out those extra couple wins when you're not expecting them. I think is really funny. So we could draw a removal spell. They're also top decking, and we've got our main card. Okay, Rafine also probably going to just put us out of our misery. Yep, there they go. They got it. I still think this is a great game to show for when the deck falters and how it might or might not get into some 50-50 situations, but that's okay. Let's keep going and get another game. Okay, jumping into this last game of the day here, I think this is a decent start. We've got a draw and discard outlet, we've got a removal spell, and we've got both colors. You know, I haven't been having that much luck with the deck, but I'm confident this is a good list, so if you have any suggestions on how I could be improving with this, and you're still watching, you champion, let me know in the comment section how I could improve. That would be great. Let's go ahead and opt here. Arclight Phoenix, let's perfectly draw that, and then we can discard it to this Croxet exactly like we want to do. My dog says hello. So let's jump this right in the yard. Maybe I just am not getting my Phoenixes into the yard fast enough. Could be certainly true. And maybe you're supposed to mulligan a little more aggressively to find one. Could also possibly be true. But let me know if you can think of something that I should be doing. That is extremely unfortunate. That is just about as bad as it can be. I don't really know how we could potentially get any worse than this, but I do think we go ahead and Strangle here because this thing getting to just continually get rid of our main cards out of the graveyard is just too sad, so we're going to Strangle it, even though that's a pretty huge cost. And then let's go ahead and attack. I want to draw 2 and not discard, and then we're also going to connive right off of that. So we're going to go ahead and get rid of... I really want to keep the Steam Bins to put in the Crackling Drake. So they're just so far ahead on card advantage that it's going to be pretty tough to dial back, but double Crackling Drake here might be actually fairly effective. So I will be right back. My dog is ringing his bell to go outside. Let me know if anything worse than that happens. All right, hold on. We'll go ahead and take this turn. Put in a Steam Bins, put down my Drake, draw. And you guys watch this game while I run right back. Okay, I am back, and they are going with some straight-up discard tribal. What a cool deck. I should definitely play this one on the channel. I do like it a lot. Put it in the hall. We want to keep that down as an option later. Drake is good against Nicol Bolas here in the air. And discarding that Arclight Phoenix would be good, except for the fact that we don't have any spells to be casting. So this just feels like another L to me. Don't really see how we get out of this. Luckily, we get to slap down the old Arclight Phoenix and then get rid of Chandra, I guess. Ooh. I guess we get to do both of these things, huh? So we go Shredder first, and then we go Phoenix second, which lets us connive, maybe dump something nice. That's fine to dump and pumps him up. And let's get that Chandra down. Will be hard to get around this Nicol Bolas, though, so this could get interesting. Actually, a land wouldn't be terrible. because then that turns on our Hall, which can start slapping for a lot. So that might be kind of nice. He does get to bring in Kroxa when they get one more card in the grave. So that will definitely be pretty unfortunate. Not interested in blocking there. We are getting really low, though, so we got to watch out for that. We're just about to die. If he brings in Kroxa, we just lose 3. This might be ending on an L. This has not been a good day or a good showing of this deck. I'm confident it's a great deck, but I'm a bad pilot of it, I can tell. So let me know if you have any more success with it. But, geez, I got a lot to learn about how to play this deck, that's for sure. That is absolutely for sure. Okay, well, they're thinking very hard about what to do with this one card in hand. They could have pumped up the Eye Tyrant, but then we have a pretty, well, it has Menace, so they could have got that in for free. So they could have gotten another 3 damage for sure. And gotten rid of a Phoenix out of the graveyard. I think we have 1 in there, right? No, we don't have any in there. Okay. So they're running double Hive of the Eye Tyrant plus that Graveyard Trespasser. That's an incredibly bad matchup for this. Probably the reason that the Phoenix decks aren't like really popping off in Explorer. They're like always around just because it's such a solid archetype. But there's a lot of really solid Grave Hate right now. Wow, flips it to the Planeswalker's side for 7 mana. Interesting choice. Put target creature or Planeswalker card from a graveyard onto the battlefield. So it's a great -4. That's an awesome card. I love this Nicol Bolas. It's super fun. Definitely need to build around it if I can get a playset of them. Just chilling. Whatever he chooses, it feels like we lose. And he brings Kroxa, and that just feels like an L. I guess we hold on to that in case he brings back Kroxa again. Yeah, I guess we kind of have to hold that, don't we? Well, yeah. Okay, I think we can do this. And then we can discard this to Kroxa without dying. He does have black, black, red, red. Oh, he just fires up an eye, though, and he wins. So, actually, that was a mistake. I should have left the Shredder back, because he just gets to fire up an eye, but I think he might even be able to do 2 of them. So I guess let's go ahead and consider and just see if there's a removal spell we can draw. I should have copied that. Shoot! Guys, that was such a mistake. Okay, we can still... we cannot Spell Pierce that. Alright, that's going to be the game. Thank you so much for joining me on this ride. If you're still here, you are a legend, and I thank you, my friend. I hope you have a great day, and I will see you in the next video as we watch this go down. So they get to choose whatever they want. Doesn't even matter. But let's just get that nice big defeat screen for the ending of this video. See you later, my friend. It's been real.